Welcome, one, welcome, all, welcome to another exciting episode of, well, Bridger's Thoughts. And we're going to be taking a look at, Humankind. Here in December, we've got a new OpenDev, which is, it's an open beta. Everybody understands how that works, right? Or in this case, it's a closed beta, but all you have to do to get into it is to pre-order. So, this one's called Lucy, and it lets us play more of the game than we've ever played before. I guess I'll leave it on normal, and we'll see how it goes. So normally, nominally, you would be able to create your own avatar that would be like your leader that interacts with other leaders and things throughout the game. But for this open dev, you play as Lucy, a pre-made avatar. I do not believe it provides any benefits or penalties or anything of that nature. It's just an avatar. It's just cosmetic. All the benefits and penalties would be based upon the cultures that you choose as you play through the game. That's right, I said cultures. Now, this is a very interesting start, because this is the first time we've seen the nomadic start, which appears to be the default for the game. This is also a common thing in older Civ games. I don't think Civ 5 had this option without mods, but I know Civ 4, it was a popular thing to have a nomadic start where, you couldn't settle right away or something like that. There were some mods that did that. Anyway, in this game, that is the case. You may not settle any cities until you meet one of the following criteria. You have to have 5 population units, or you have to accrue 10 knowledge, or you have to have hunted a total of 3 animals. Now that's very interesting. When I was playing around with this earlier to get ready for the stream, excuse me, there we go, it was real easy to get the 3 animal hunts because, I ran into another tribe and I ran into a deer and then another deer and boom, I was ready to found my city. It seems like you need 2 of these knowledge ones, that you just search around and find. And then you may need 5. So, it says you need 5 population. This is the one that I don't get. It seems like this one's going to take forever. Because, well, you can claim territory. And I guess if you do that, you can't do it without 5 influence. If you do that, that can help grow your stuff faster. So why don't we grab the knowledge one, because we can reach that in a single turn. Interesting plateau here. So that gave us influence as well as science, I believe. Does it say what we have right now? Current knowledge is 1. We only got 1 from that. But we did get 20 influence. So I think on a future turn, we should be able to begin setting up an outpost for our capital. The question is, do we want to set it up here? This is a very meh place. Only 6 food and 5 production. Here you get a little more in terms of science because of that thing. Here's pretty good. The problem, of course, is that we would then have to add this territory as well. We'd have to have 2 territories, which you can definitely do, and there are lots of benefits to that, especially because this territory appears to have a giant mountain range in the middle of it. You couldn't make a nice big city in the middle. You'd have to kind of sprawl this one out across 2 territories, it looks like. But, that having been said, this isn't terrible because it's got... no, it is kind of terrible. I take it back. It's terrible. This might be considerably better, and it'll eventually expand in this direction. But this is a good place to start. 15 food and 8. So we can still do that this turn, too. Wow, we have 1 more. All right. So we've created an outpost. The outpost is going to take a certain amount of time to construct. It looks like it's going to be 2 more turns. I can't... So... The reason it's taking 2 turns is because it's giving me 14 per turn from the tile, right? Is it 14? No, that was food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have not yet been able to figure out why it's producing in 2 turns. If it was producing 10 per turn, that might explain it, but not really, because that only gets us to 30, not to 35. Initial duration versus turns before completion. Those are a mystery to me with the results to how outposts are working. I've been trying to figure it out. I haven't gotten it yet. So we gained a population. Why did we gain a population? Because when we create an outpost, we gain a population, perhaps. And now, while that outpost is growing, our other tribe can go over here and grab a food. Curiosity. So that wild berries gave us an extra 5 food. That's slowly bringing us closer to growing a new population point with this tribe. And what else do we have here? Population point there. So we have 2 population points now. We have the 1 knowledge, and we have not found any hunts yet. But we will continue going on. Alright, the outpost is not yet complete, but it looks like these guys might be coming to attack us. You get back! Back, you fools! This is actually a disadvantage for us. They can go up on the high ground here, and they'll have significant benefit. It looks like, yes, we are playing the same map as every time. It's not a randomly generated map. Okay, so we got 1 more science and 20 more influence. So that's interesting to note, that we're playing the same map every time. And we can't place another one because we don't have enough influence yet. That's okay. Where are we getting the 2 per turn? You just always get 2 per turn, perhaps.
As the eagle flies.
As the eagle flies. So, I'm a big fan of... Whoa, we found a bear. I'm a big fan of the systems in the game so far. I like this sort of nomadic start where you can kind of put together an outpost, but it doesn't have to commit. You don't have to commit to that spot. It's not guaranteed to be your capital. I could build another outpost and maybe use that as my capital, or you can actually move outposts once they're constructed. Excuse me. This outpost could be moved before we turn it into an actual city. And it looks like it's going to continue to grow because the food here is plentiful. Population grows at a rate per population in the city. The more population, the faster the growth of the new population. So that's a change from a previous OpenDev. Hello, Strizel. Hello, Nutty Jawa and Cyrillic name. There is a change from the previous one. Previously, the food status was, I think, between 0 and 10 was like, you're making enough, but you're not really growing. Between like 11 and 50 was, you're growing at 1 every 8 turns or something. And if you had 50 or more, then you were growing once every 4 turns. Now, it appears to be changed so that it's based on your population, which makes sense. That's how exponential growth works. If you have a plentiful amount of food, then your population can explode because, if your current generation has, 10 people and each of them has 3 kids, the next generation is going to have 30 people and each of them have 3 kids, the next generation is going to have 90, etc. It expands geometrically. Not all population works like that, but it's more than linear, even if it's less than a normal exponential curve, because of all kinds of other factors. Anyway, so as a result, it makes intuitive sense that a larger population should be able to grow faster, and that also makes the strategic decision of how many units you want to build early on, because if you have, every unit you build costs you a population. You can see it's -1 population there. It'll take some time to build it usually, but it'll also cost you a population. And so, if you build a lot of units when you only have a small population, it's going to significantly slow your overall number of population growth. And your units can be turned back into population points. You can send them back into the cities to become population. They don't have to stay as combat troops, though I believe they will lose all veterancy if you do that, which is an interesting trade-off as well. All right, speaking of fighting, we've got a bear attacking us here. We're not in a great position vis-a-vis the bear. So you can see whenever a battle occurs between two armies, in this case it's an army of one and an army of one, but most of the battles in the game are going to be between armies of more than one unit and another army of more than one unit. And it creates a little battle space for the armies to fight in. In this case, there's a lot of mountains, so a big chunk of the battle is not, there's not a lot of space because of this mountain range. We're right up against it. So we are basically choosing here in the deployment phase where in our little starting area, based on where they attacked us from and where we were at the start of the battle, where we want to deploy. And I guess we'll stay right here. If anything, it'll force the bear to go around up here, and maybe that would take him some turns to do. So there's no real advantage that I can find, because we can't get any higher than we already are, and we're in forest. That's the best we can do, but I think forest isn't going to help us against the bear. Oh, here he comes. He's slashing. Fight him back. Nobody fought him back. He did take damage, though. Just no animations for it. So, ugh. This is kind of terrible. I wonder if we could run away. I thought, maybe we should just try and survive. I thought we'd be able to beat him, actually. But yeah, this dog ain't gonna hunt. Let's get up here. It'll give us a height advantage at least. Alright, I think that one worked out a little bit more in our favor. Definitely worked out a lot more in our favor thanks to the height advantage. So now, we can crush the bear. If it was another human empire, they can grab your camp, and if they have control of your camp by the end of the battle, then bad things for you. Because we killed the bear, we got a hunt, which got us a little bit closer to getting the fame from getting 3 animal hunts. By the way, animal hunts includes other tribes. I don't know if that's a bug or not. I believe I am Bridger on G2G. Yeah. Actually, I can tell you right now. I don't remember if I'm... Yeah, I'm Bridger on G2G as well. Sometimes it has to be Bridger 15 because somebody else has taken control of my name. But anyway, so... I was playing earlier and I fought against another tribe and it counted those as animal kills. So I got the Hunter Star pretty quick. We're at 2 of 10 for this. We're at 3 of 5 for that. So this is actually easier to get than I thought, especially because of the growth in the nomadic tribe. So anyway, peaceful animals. Animals can be hunted to collect more food, increase your growth star meter, but hunting can be dangerous, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So what I want to find out is right now you can see the tribe is going to heal, I believe 20 is what that looks like. It looks about 1/5 of the bar. So I think it's going to go 46 to 66. If we move into a friendly territory, I don't think that changes. Oh, it does change. If you're in friendly territory, it heals a lot more. That's important to know. A salve for the bloodied. You get these random events every once in a while. So there's a warrior that's hurt, and we have to choose one of these two. This event in particular doesn't give us any indication of which one gives you what. This, because we're praying to the spirits, maybe we'll wind up with some kind of religious implication. This one, because we're trying to treat it with medicine, might be some kind of science implication. So we're just going to click on that, and then we'll find out what happened later. Okay, so we saw this. It shows that we gained actually 20. That's a lot. And I think that might be enough to do what I want to do here. After these guys chill and heal. There we go. I can hopefully set up another city right over here. Oh, hey. There's a deer that's super wounded. So let's have this tribe go and set up the other outpost that I was thinking about getting. So 13-7, 13-4. I think this is going to be better. Oh, damn it. Somehow we grew. Hold on a second. I want to make sure I understand this thing. Let me go back to the beginning of that turn. See if I can understand what's going on. Oh, hello, Saikana. You're part of QA. I might have a save for that file. Let me do a quick check. I might not have the autosaves. Hold on. Let me go back to the furthest back I can find and see if that's the one. Let's see. And then we'll go back to what I was looking at earlier with that game. No, damn it. I can tell you that I believe it was an outpost being created. In addition, no, because it was this one that I hovered over. I don't think the outpost was created yet when I had been doing that. So I'm pretty sure it was like a scout unit from the Olmecs right here while my guy was right here. And for some reason, the Olmec guy here, we were at war with them. I don't know if that's important, but what allowed us to see the unit through the fog of war. I should have taken the save. I'm sorry. I didn't think about that. I thought that if it was a bug, it would be present in everything. But you're right. It could have been a confluence of events. All right. So anyway, we're here. What I didn't understand is how come creating an outpost, did that give me food? Is that what I just experienced here? Let's see. I'm going to send just this tribe over here. And then claiming this territory. Nope, nope, nope. Wrong one. Why is that the case? I don't like that at all. All right. So it didn't. Oh, did it move? It moved through this, didn't it? I bet you that's what happened.
This way.
It could have moved through that, and that's how I got the extra population. Huh. I'm gonna test that one more time. I'm still a little confused about where the food comes from. If there's any other sources other than food, than hunting, and these like food pickups. I do like the new the diplomacy system. I feel like a lot of the Civ games just drop the ball when it comes to the diplomacy system. Oh, there was one right there too. Another food curiosity. All right, well, we'll go and get those eventually.
This way.
And the, so this looks like I'm making one big city here that's going to be across all three of these territories. That might be an interesting way to start. Alright, so we'll send this one here. Huzzah. We'll send this other one over here to get the other food curiosity. Ooh. So that food curiosity was enough for this to create a second tribe. How is that even... Did it say it was 20? Was it... Did that particular food... Did the food carry... I know, right, Strizel? Yeah, and that's true. The AI has a problem with the war weariness, or the warmonger system in Civ doesn't work super well. In Civ 6, I think I like the direction they were going with it. All right, so if this tribe exclusively goes over here, They pick up 10 food. Now that shows 10 just for them. This shows 5 just for these guys. And if they walk over here, did they pick up 15? They did. That's how they got the second. Okay, that's how they got their second population. Meanwhile, this is still growing, 1 in 3 turns. Aha! I've achieved a new era goal. So, in case you're unfamiliar with what this game, the game's overall achievement goal thing is, it's fame. I can't really show it to you yet, but we'll take a look at it in a minute. But over the course of the game, you are growing your fame, and the fame is essentially a score that's denoted from a number of different ways that you can gain it. I think it's 7 major categories that you can gain fame. It's like science, expansion, merchant, and a couple other. We'll look at them in a second. My idea, and what I tried in the last game, and I'm going to keep trying it again. The Nubians are really cool. They got this trading thing going on, and they've got really nice archers. They are a merchant. I don't remember what it's called. Focus? And now we should be able to look at this. Not until the next turn. When we hit the next turn, we'll officially turn into the Nubians and we'll be allowed to settle our city. Right now you can see these outposts don't give you the option to turn them into a city yet. They're still just outposts. Outposts simply collect the food and production that's around them inside the territory they're built in. That's why we're not collecting anything from this tile, because it's not in the same territory. And the only things you can do that with is it'll grow some population up to a low limit. 4, I think, is the limit from all cities or outposts. They just have that default low limit. And then you can build a new tribe, in this case, from an outpost. I don't think you can do much more than that, even from a later outpost. But once you build a city, you can actually build quarters, and you can build improvements and all kinds of other stuff. So let's go ahead and see, where should these guys go? What is there to search, to seek out? Let's go this way, find out. Oh, we found another food curiosity. We can't quite reach it, but we found it. And now the end turn button was lit up because we are ready to go into the next era.
Humankind learns quickly that everyone contributes. If you're terrified of wild animals, you can grow lentils or catch fish. Tribes settle towns. Towns develop markets, and markets...
I'm with you, Strizel. I do not like the religion system in Civ 6. I don't like to have to micromanage it by building religious units that have religious combat. It just feels like an incredibly weak, lame version of actual combat in the game, right? It's just terrible. It's just what makes combat interesting in these games, where you can have like the 1 unit per hex kind of thing within the Civ systems, is the different types of units and how you set them up tactically on the board. But with religious units, you're just bashing them against each other. It's not actually, there's no tactics to it. It's just who spent more faith on these guys and sent them out to do their bidding. Like, the religious combat element just never clicked at all. Didn't make a lot of sense. I don't yet know how religion works in this game, but I'm sure you'll find out, because this goes all the way through to the early modern era, which is basically the age of discovery. I wish they wouldn't call it early modern, because that, in my head, early modern is like World War I. And then, like, World War II and the Cold War would be, like, the modern era. And then, like, the last 30, 40 years would be, like, the information era. Like, that's how they break down in my head. But what they mean when they say early modern era is the Renaissance / Age of Discovery. It's like the 1400s through the Industrial Revolution. Because the Industrial Age comes after it, I believe. Yeah, you're right. The tactics component in Civ 6 isn't that great either. And I didn't think that you could make one of those games that I would be really enjoying the tactics element in. And then I played the Warhammer 40k Gladius. And that was a very engaging tactical system. So now here we can instantly turn this outpost into our very first city. Look at that. Beautiful city on the hill. Shining city on the hill. Now, what to build next? We don't want to build these guys because, again, we want our population in the city doing its thing. I was thinking a maker's quarter would be good, but wow. There are no good options for a maker's quarter. That's really sad. Because this mountain would actually be pretty good for a maker's quarter. It'd add +3 industry, but it would also need to be inside of our territory. So here's the thing. Next turn, we're going to have enough to attach this territory to this territory, and then we can build off of this core or this core. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a decent area around here for the Maker's Quarter with all these forests. So in the meantime, this gives you money if it's adjacent to Maker's Quarters. This is a unique district for the Numidians. I'm thinking we want a Farmer's Quarter. +7, that's a good number. Because adding the Farmer's Quarter adds 1 to the tile, and then it also lets you exploit all of the stuff around it. Now you'll notice by placing the Farmer's Quarter here, we do... Oh, that's 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yeah. We do lose access to the 1 production that's under this hex. And that's because when you build a quarter, it only is going to exploit the specific types of resources listed here. So this is only going to exploit food. This is only going to exploit production. This is only going to exploit currency, gold. And so if we were to place this here, we would lose the food and the production, and it wouldn't exploit these tiles at all because those tiles have none of the above, no currency at all. But if we put our food here, we'll get a lot of food from, what is the... It's a river spring, makes that a very good area for food. That's why it's 4 food. So 4, 5, 6, and then when you place the quarter, it adds 1 to the tile that it's on for 7. So we're going to do that. That'll take a bunch of turns, and by the time it's done, we'll connect these 2 territories into 1 larger city. Meanwhile, these guys need to go out and look for a place to settle an actual second city, and not just an extension of our first. Generally, that's what I would think it would be a good idea. Huh. This spawn point has been ransacked. By whom? Now, here's an interesting thing I learned. Hello, Tingle. We did build this city. If you move onto a tile with a river and you want to continue across to the other side, your movement's over. But if you move onto a tile with a river and you want to move along the river, you can keep going. Moving along the river always seems to be a one movement point move. But if you're trying to cross the river, it takes like all of your movement. So that's a very interesting system, and I like to see that. I was skeptical, and I'm still kind of skeptical for how rivers going through the center of tiles as opposed to being on the tile edges like in Civ 6 or Civ 5. And here's the reason. In tactical combat, units on a river tile have a disadvantage. And it doesn't matter where they're attacked from. And that's annoying. It doesn't make... It lacks verisimilitude, right? So, if my unit is here, and it's attacking up this hill, and does some damage to some guys up here, no problem. If the guys up here then attack down the hill to my guys get a penalty for being on a tile with a river, even though they're not crossing a river. They've been on the other side of the river. They fought on the other side of the river last turn. So why are they having a penalty for defending on a river? Especially when attacking across a river is when there should be a penalty, not defending on a river. It makes no sense. It's the exact opposite of what it should be. And that's why it bugs me. All right, now these guys are exploring. Look at this. This is very interesting, too. And I think it might be a little problematic. Because this is a... So you can see when you hover over things, you get different stuff, right? This is dry grass and terra rossa. I don't know what terra rossa is, but apparently it increases the science output, right? There's something about that tile that's unique. Whereas this is just dry grass. This is dry grass with terra rasa. This is prairie with berry bushes, right? And when you zoom all the way out, you can see that the berry bushes and the dry and the terra rasa have little things to indicate that these are special tiles, and they've got some what might be called in Civ 6 bonus resources, right? They aren't luxury resources, they aren't strategic resources, but they make the tile a little bit better. And you can see those are all over the place here. It's one of the reasons this was such a great spot, because there's 3 right there, and then there's another one over here that I don't think we can see. No, never mind, there wasn't one over there. Anyway, it's reddish clay. And yet the actual reddish clay is not terra rasa. Red soil. It's a well-drained reddish clay to silty clay soil with neutral pH conditions typical of the Mediterranean region. So theoretically, it's good for food, but also for science, because the problem is, and it doesn't make sense, but I recognize their problem, right? They want to make some kind of terrain that can give you a science bonus, right? Luxury resources are obviously the place to put your currency. They didn't put it here, but it seems like rivers should also be a place that might put your currency. I don't know, you could put like wild animal, like game is really good for currency. But the thing that you see most on the map is food and production, right? Your forests are production, your mountains are production. And in Civ, you didn't get science from the terrain. But that's how it's always worked in other Endless games, right? In Endless Legend, you got science from cold areas. And you kind of just went along with it. Like, okay, sure. Cold stuff makes science better. Why not? But that was a fantasy game. This is supposed to be a historical game. I don't know how you justify, hey, this crater gives them science. Are they really considering how a meteorite fell from the sky here? Or does it just like the existence of the crater makes the most curious among them look up at the sky and wonder, what could have done this? And that turns them into more creative thinkers? I don't know. You're right, rivers wouldn't produce commerce until a later age. Now there's buildings that can make rivers produce commerce. But anyway, point is, sometimes it stretches it. Like, how is the Terra Rasa giving them science? I don't know. You just gotta go with it, because that's how these things work. What's this one over here? More science is a cave. Oh, okay. A cave gives you science. I'll trust you to... Yeah, okay. Whatever you say, bud. All right, so now, because we are... speaking of science, because we have settled our first city, we now get to do this. Da-dum-dum. How do you get money before it's invented? That's a good question. Is currency the technology in here somewhere? Trade expeditions. It's common to have these games have a thing called currency, even though technically, I mean, currency's been a thing for a very long time. Guilds. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like they have a thing called currency. I guess it's just assumed to exist as part of these other things. But the first one that seems to reference trading of any kind... writing gives you the market quarter. So this is the first one, as far as I can tell, that gives you any kind of reference to that. Now, copper finds uses in... Here's the question. I know for a fact you can see horses on the map. This does not unlock the ability to see horses. It unlocks the ability to process horses as a strategic resource. Presumably that's true for all of these. Or are there some technologies that reveal resources? And if so, do they look different than these other ones that have the circles? Yeah, I probably want to put some feedback on the tech tree, because if circles here mean you can now exploit this type of resource, as is the case with horses, and I believe is the case with copper, and is probably the case with iron, then this use reinforcements should be a different shape or color or something. Make it a pentagon or make it a circle but with a red background. Because it looks like they're trying to, like, circles are military advancements, including your strategics. Here, night raids. Army gains more stuff. So, and let's see, here, an administrator count. That doesn't fit in the same category either. Like, I wish that they had more. Like, right now, all they seem to have are 3 categories. You're either a circle, which is miscellaneous, you're a hexagon, which is a new type of quarter, or you're a square, which is a new type of improvement, I think it's called, or something to that effect. Or it looks like squares are also units? Units should definitely be a different background or a different color or a different shape. Like, there needs to be some way to more easily see, where do I unlock units? Like, without hovering over this, is it easy to see at a glance that this is a unit and this isn't? Not really. When I look down here, okay, that's a unit and this is not. And is this a unit? Oh, I have to hover it over and see it's a fishery. So I definitely think this could be cleaned up a lot and improved in a way that will significantly help readability, especially for new players. Anyway, all that having been said, we are traders, so getting +2 for the farmers is pretty good. And so going towards writing seems good. A lumberyard, however, might be super necessary in the near future because we don't have a lot of production, but we do have a lot of forests right over here. So the lumberyard could help us a lot. Oh, a search bar. That's true. Ah. Related to military, related to resources. Oh, okay. So that, okay. I appreciate that a lot. I still think it could be... You could at least add one more category somewhere in here to differentiate out units from buildings, make them a slightly different shape, a pentagon, something else. But yeah, I do really appreciate the resource thing. Can you confirm if resources are all revealed on the map at the beginning, or if any are unlocked? Like, is aluminum something that's... I don't know. Actually, we can look deeper into this and see what's, like, the furthest forward resource-related thing. We saw iron before. Here is saltpeter. So is this when it gets revealed, or is this when it can be processed, or both? Because it's not consistent. If this is when it can be revealed and processed, then that's not consistent at all with the beginning when you can see horses without... Unless... Okay, hear me out. Maybe if you're one tech away from unlocking the thing, you can see the thing but not process it. If I get city defense, copper might show up on the map, and then when I get bronze working, I can process it. If that's the case, I'm happy. And I'm sorry I'm going so slow through this. I'm just like, this is not a super... This is me exploring the game. If I'd had time to properly, like, play through it over 2 or 3 days and really learn the nuances of it, I could actually do a full explain video or talk more about what I'm doing while I'm doing it. Right now, we'll go attack this deer. And I've had very weird things with the auto battle resolve, where it'll say, like, oh, you've got a massive advantage, and I tell it to auto resolve, and it's like, you lost. What? The deer killed both of my guys? So I'm going to go ahead and do the actual battle here. Now, it didn't start me here because that's a river, but, and again, it's a high ground. I shouldn't, like, have a penalty for being on a river. It's ridiculous. Alright, so the good news is, damn it. Can't go on the other side of the river. This is a pain. There's no option for me except to attack it, because then I'm... See, -3 for crossing a river. So no matter what I do, I can't... It's always determined that I'm on the wrong side of the river, is what it comes down to. Oh, if you enter the era, you can see the resources. That makes sense, too. Those kind of details are really hidden, and Amplitude... you know, for as good as they make really interesting, cool systems, they're just terrible at explaining them. The tooltips do a decent job, and in some games it's better than others. I think Endless Space 2 did a pretty good job overall of teaching the game through the tooltips and making sure that it was easy to understand all the different things that are going on. But like this game, if I hover over a river tile, it just says base movement cost 4. It doesn't explain that if you move along the river, it costs less. I don't even know if moving along the river costs less, or if it's always 1, or if it's 2, or if it's half, or what. So like, there always seem to be, in these Amplitude games, little things that the game won't explain to you. Whether you're right or not, Sakana, if it's the era that reveals the thing, hovering over this, it should say, other than just that text, this thing, bronze working, unlocks the ability to utilize copper, right? And copper's revealed at the beginning of the ancient age. And then the same thing would be here. This standing army allows you to utilize iron. Iron is revealed at the beginning of the classical age, or if it's, once you reveal bronze working, iron is revealed. Like, that should be here. This is where I should find out about that information, and it's not there. So there's a lot of that going on in here. And I know, to be fair, game's not out until April. So a lot of that kind of tightening up on stuff, maybe they get a lot of good feedback from this, and I know that their tutorial system is not complete, so my main thing is that it is not unusual in their past games, even months and months and months and years after release, to still have those little tiny things that you don't know unless you thoroughly examine the system. And like, okay, let me try this turn, and next turn I'll try the other thing. Oh, so it's a +3 under that condition. Like, that's not anywhere. Yeah, I'll definitely add that in the survey, and as much stuff as I can remember anyway. Just post a link to this thing. Just watch this video and listen to me ramble. Okay, so anyway, this here, are we on the next turn where we can do this? Why can't we click? Okay, hang on. Click this. There we go. It was weird that it was kind of grayed out there. I don't know if you saw that. But point is, I've now attached these two cities together, so their population was joined, and I can now build quarters out of this area and out of this area. Now, there is a sort of pseudo cost, a penalty for doing that. The benefit is, holy crap, you can have a much bigger population that grows faster. You can have a lot more concentrated industry. I mean, look at where we were before. This city was kind of crap because it didn't have any industry, but it had a lot of food. This one didn't have a huge amount of food, but it has a lot of industry. And now I've put them together, and I've got a super city that does both. And I can have all kinds of cool quarters around this area that has a lot of food, and I can have all kinds of cool quarters around this area that has a lot of luxuries and other stuff, right? But here's the rub. Stability is harder to deal with for bigger, more spread out cities. If you connect two territories together to make them into a mega city, then the stability has a permanent penalty added to it. It looks like -20 for each territory. And here's another one. Is it per territory? It just says from number of territories. If that said, and I know that these are really hard to write to make them dynamic and make them work all the time, but in an ideal world, it would say -20 stability due to one attached territory. So that it would be very clear that each attached territory adds 20. Because for all I know, it's 20 for the first, 30 for the second, 40 for the fourth, for the third. Like, I don't know how that scaling goes. I could envision it a number of different ways for a number of different design reasons, and I can't tell from this. And if it was written -24 first territory, -24 second, or if it said -40 or -20 times 2 for number of territories, that would be valuable information that would help me learn how these systems work without having to test. Right now, I have to test, go back and reload, or just continue this game in a way that I might not otherwise play in order to connect a different territory just to see what happens when I do. And that's always bad. Anyway, going to try to continue forward. So now we're building the farmer's quarter over here. It's going to be done real fast. The next one I want up is a maker's quarter. And I can't get a really good one, but this is going to be at least a little bit more. It's better than nothing. And I could eventually put my another maker's quarter here, perhaps, and it would allow me to use the mountain here. And here's one more piece that's really unsatisfying. And this is a problem I had with Endless Legend. I think I'll throw this in its own feedback thread as well. It is deeply unsatisfying to find a really nice city location. Like, let's just say for the moment that this spot right here is a really nice city location. But due to the shape of the territories that were made, I can't do it without connecting multiple territories. That's probably a bad example. Let me see if I can find a better example. Okay. So you can see you've got the territory that makes a little bulb down here for like the final spot. It would be nice to have a city like, I don't know, here, but I pay... Okay. Hypothetical. I want a city in this territory that's not a multi-territory city. There's a nice crater right here I'd like to take advantage of. I build a city here, and I build a quarter here to get advantage of that. I can't take advantage of this. Now, in this case, it's food, but let's say for the sake of argument, there was another science thing there, or another production thing, or whatever I wanted to use. They both were the thing. It's deeply unsatisfying to see a very nice city location and then go, oh, but due to the shape of the territory, it's actually a crappy space because a quarter here doesn't exploit across that territory boundary, even if that territory was mine. The solution, I think, for this is if this has a different city in it or an outpost that is not linked to that territory, it should still be able to exploit one across the border. Not more than one, just one. You can only build in your own territory, but it should still always exploit across a friendly border into your outpost or other city. Now, obviously, the problem there is they would then have to include a lot of logic that if this city builds out to here, they can't both farm that same space, right? It would probably have to default to this territory city would take ownership of the area. But if this city's not using these areas along the border, it should be exploitable by the quarters. Not buildable, just exploitable across the border. It is so unsatisfying in Endless Legend to look and find a great spot and then realize, but I can't expand in any of those directions to take advantage of those cool things because reasons. In this game, it's slightly alleviated by the ability that you can connect two cities together. So, for example, there's two luxury resources right next to each other. I can't build a single city right here or right here that takes advantage of both of them without linking the cities. I have to. I have no choice. And that feels very frustrating. Okay. Rant over. Strizel likes the one city challenge. So you played a lot of Venice, I guess, is your choice. See here? I followed the river, but now I'm able to use all my movement points to cross the river. That's very inconsistent. When you move onto a river, it normally costs you all your movement points. In this case, I moved along a river, and it costs less, which makes sense. But now when I cross to the other side of the river, there's no penalty at all. Very inconsistent and confusing, and it doesn't make intuitive sense. Now, to be fair, movement systems in these games almost never make intuitive sense. I mean, in Civ 5, you could move onto a space that nominally took 2 movement points when you only had 1 left. What the hell was that about? They fixed it in Civ 6, but in Civ 5, you could start by moving onto an open space and then into a forest to move a total of 2 hexes. But if you moved into a forest first, you then couldn't move into the plain space. It was different depending on which hex you moved into first, which makes no sense. That is bonkers dumb. And I can't fathom what they were thinking, except maybe this is easier to program. Or there's other problems that are caused by giving everybody 3 movement points and then like enforcing movement point limits. Because coming from a wargaming background, like if you don't have the movement points, you can't move in there. That's how it is. And in this game, I can't figure out what it costs for a unit to move in to an area. It seems like the rule for rivers is if you're moving into a river from a non-river tile, it costs almost all your movement. But that's not even all the case, because if I move into a river tile over here, it then lets me move along the river without costing me... I don't know. I just don't know. And moving along a river to cross a river apparently is free. I mean, do forests even have... They have a base movement cost of 2, apparently. So it could definitely use a tutorial on how the movement system works. I'm going to go ahead and start taking notes. Because I'm going to forget most of these things that I want to say. In particular... Okay, I took some quick notes. Now, what are we doing here? We're still building that, and I'm looking for another great spot. Now, we are a merchant, and we have that thing that we want, where we want luxury resources. So I'm searching out another city location where I might get some luxury resources. I don't have any other scouts, do I? Oh, they're down here. And they were, let's just send them all out. No, let's keep these 2 together, just to make sure. So we'll send them down... See, they're able to move along the river, and if they do, they move 1, 2, 3. Technically, they can move 4, apparently. But they can't move off the river after that. Like, if they keep moving along the river, it's still 4. If they move off the river... Okay, they can move 1, 2, 3, 4 for some reason that I just do not understand. Oh, I meant to keep these guys together. Let's do that. I do like the fact that even in Civ 6 you can get armies where they group up, but it takes so long to make that happen. Ah. So the warrior we healed with the poultice has survived. Nature's riches offer much more than simple sustenance. We study many plants. And for some reason that lowers calendar research? I'm not 100% sure how plants get you to calendar. I guess they didn't have a lot to work with. It feels like domestication would have made a little more sense. There's not a lot on this early part, though, that would make a lot of sense. Maybe calendar... No, calendar's going to writing. You're right, you're right. It's not the same in terms of armies in Civ 6. Oops. So here is... So here's the fame. We didn't talk about this earlier, but this is basically how it works, and it's very interesting. So the way that you score points, which is how you win the game, the goal at the end of the game is to have the most fame, so which it's actually possible to like get beaten up and get kicked. I think it's probably possible to get beaten up and maybe get kicked out of the game, like lose your last city right at the end. But if you did well enough in the early and mid game, then you have more fame than everybody else, you win. Maybe you're not alive, but you left the greatest mark on history. That's true in some other games, but in this one, maybe you have to be alive at the end. But it's true that you could be in a very diminished position by the end to still have a great and noble civilization, series of civilizations. So what you do is you get rewards and stars for achieving certain things. So because we are a merchant civilization, we actually get 50% bigger reward for achieving the merchant goal that matches our civilization type, our culture type right now. But that's merchant. The other 6 are aesthete. Aesthete. I'm not even sure what that is, like wonders and government, I think. So that's based on influence output in this era. I don't know if these change based on the era, if they're always the same. Is it always based on money output and this is always based on number of technologies? Maybe. And then builder is the number of districts you've built within your empire. We've had 0 because we haven't even finished the first quarter. Apparently city centers don't count. 10 population will get you this reward. And then here's the interesting rub, right? These say 100 and 150. Let's go to the next turn. And here's another situation where it's not helping me by telling me exactly what's going to happen. It still says 100 and 150, huh? Okay. I know that these rewards go down over time. I don't know what triggers it. It says era stars unlocked this turn would grant 100, but it doesn't tell me why it would grant 100 and what it will grant next turn. I don't really need to know what it'll grant next turn. That's fair. I'd still like to understand the system. That would be nice. Let's see what we've got over here. Oh, we got a nice ridge. We can see everything from up here. Nope, we can't see there. All right. Well, I was hoping to find some luxury resources in this area, but I did not luck out, so to speak. This is a really nice spot, though. Look at this big. We can make one good city somewhere in here. It's got a big river running through this area. Yeah, this could do. This might do. Let's see. Can we afford... Okay, here's another piece of feedback that I'm going to put on the forums. I want to see the pop-up, right? I only have 21 influence, so I know I can't place this, but I want the tooltip that shows me the various options so that I can plan. It does the summing, right? It'll tell you, okay, if you build an outpost here, it will be, let's see, 3, 7 production, and 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 food, and 3 science, right? I don't want to do all that manual math. That's why you put the tooltip in there in the first place, but I can't even see it because you've changed it into this red one. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to my list of things that that I should complain about until they fix it. I still want to plan, even if I can't actually do it. All right, so we're making a decent amount of influence per turn. Here's another one. 9 influence per turn. Where's it coming from? Who knows? Do I get any just by being, or is it all coming from a city? I don't know. I guess I have to go explore. Well, it says I get 9 from the city, so I guess that answers my question. But before I had a city, I still had 2 income. Where did that come from? I don't know. Could be anywhere. Could even be a boat. Oh, we found some horses here. So anyway, back to my previous... Wow, that's a hell of a ridge. Back to my previous point. This area here is a stone field and a river. Those are the only 2 things. And it's got... Because it's a stone field, it produces production. And because it's a river, it produces 1 food, I guess. Here's dry grass. Here's a prairie. Let's find another stone field. Hey, here's a stone field and a river. It doesn't look the same at all. This is this weird red rock, but it's not the same. I can look over here and see if I can find a stone field. Dry grass and a river. Here's dry grass. So the river always seems to add 1 food, which makes sense. I know there's, here. Stone field, no river. It's a desert, but I know there are stone fields that have rivers that don't look red. Here's a stone field. Okay, so this is just a stone field. This is a stone field. They look completely different. How are you supposed to... That doesn't make any sense to me. Why do they look so different? Do stone fields turn red when they're near rivers? Is that what I'm learning here? Here's another stone field. Dry grass. I mean, I'm guessing they have, like, different biomes, right? That seems to be how they're making these things. And it provides an aesthetic appeal, but it makes it really hard to understand what you're looking at as a new player. See you later, Psychona. Alright, where are we? These guys. It does look like you've found the edge of the Earth every time, by the way. It looks like the Earth drops off and turns into terra incognita. And just pops out of the ground. So it's very deceptive, because every time I look at it, I think, oh, I found the coast. And nope, never found the coast. It was never there in the first place, you fool. Wow! Now there is a hell of a maker's quarter. Right? That would be amazing! Like, I want a city, like, right here, so I can put a maker's quarter there and pump out anything I want. That is a lot of production. And then there's a lot of good places for... Okay, you know what? I need some influence so I can make that happen. I really liked the idea of this one over here, too, though. Can't do it until I have 40. It's going to take a long time to get... And then after that, I think... So that's 40. This is also 40, because I think the outpost... And here's another question. How much does the outpost cost? It should be right here. Right? It says depending on the location you choose. And maybe they're waiting until the game is done and they've, finished tweaking these numbers. But what this should say is, this also costs you influence. 40 if it's right next to your city, 60 if it's 1 territory away, 80 if it's 2 territories away, plus 10 for every territory you already have, or something like that. Whatever the actual formula is, that's where you should find out. Go ahead and put that in my notes. And I know it doesn't really matter a lot of the time, because I'm not going to need this information until I actually go to build an outpost most of the time. But here's the rub. What if I want to decide right now, is it worth leaving these guys here, ready to build a city? Or should I send them off and do a big circuit and come back? Because I actually need 60 if I were to build this one first. I don't know how to plan for what these guys should do, because I don't know what the second one will cost until I build the first one. That's why that system should be explained to the player. Also, oh God. Spacebar should snooze the units. Very simple. Probably something they're considering. I know there are some hotkeys, but I don't know if that one's listed. Grab. I don't even know what grab the in-game camera. I guess it's the same as like clicking and dragging. Culture screen. Fims grid. K. To turn them on and off. I like that. That's good to know. Move army action. Claim territory. Sleep army action. Ah, they are here. They're just not bound to anything. Okay, that's fine. Sleep army action. Isn't there a sentry action or something to that effect? Yeah, I think that must be what it means in the settings. Sleep until healed. That actually isn't implemented, apparently. Whatever, cancel. Sleep army. I think this means century, though. I'm pretty sure that's what that means. Some of these other ones could be very valuable. End the turn is enter or enter on the keypad. I like that you can change end turn. That's valuable. Because I like to have it on my mouse. Very easy to thumb the button instead of dragging all the way down here. I haven't decided how I want to do it yet, though. There's our first quarter. Yay! They got little balloons. Look at that. Ticker tape parades. It's amazing. I love the detail that is apparent when you zoom way in. Like you can see the eagles soaring, and there's little guys in the field, and there's a little smoke coming out of the huts. You zoom out, and you can still see most of it, but it was very apparent that when you zoomed in, these became a lot more obvious. But they're still there. I have it on the highest quality, so that's part of it. All right. These guys still cannot actually build their thing, so they're going to wait. Hey, look, it worked. These guys... I'm going to have one of them do a circuit of this mountain range and see what they can find. See? Moving into the space that has a river costs them all of their movement. Why? I don't know. It's bizarre. Got me. Hey, Nathan. There's copper just north of my starting city, you say? So there is. Okay. Look at it, sparkly and everything. So it may be that Saikana was right, and at the beginning of an era, it reveals all of the strategics from that era. I don't think I had visual of that during the Neolithic Age, so I can't be sure. So now that I've got 48... Here we're going to find out, actually. I'm going to build a settlement here first, because this is just too good to pass up. And these guys will just rejoin and wait. Meanwhile, these guys, if they were to build a settlement, we need 60. Because it appears to be 20 plus 20 per territory you already have, plus 20 for each territory away from your territory, starting with the first one. So we've got 3 territories that we've claimed now. But maybe no, it's number of outposts. Must be 40 for the first away from an area, plus 20 for each outpost. That's my best guess at the moment. So these guys... they can come back. They're going to do a little circuit going this way. Because it's going to take a while before we can get there. We do have 11 now. Why do we have 11? Did that new outpost already start producing stuff? Or did our city start producing more? Our city's producing 9. You see where this could be very valuable? Why do we have 11? This doesn't tell us what it's producing. It's an outpost. It's not producing anything, right? Wrong. It's producing something. Because we just gained 2 per turn. I do appreciate how sometimes the borders follow ridgelines and mountain ranges. That gives it a nice feel for a more realistic reason or way in which the regions have been formed. So these 2, we're going to send them around in a circle, I think. Go around this mountain range and see what can be seen. Oh, it's a mammoth. Get the mammoth! Problem is, we're not going to be able to get the mammoth very easy. But let's confirm the battle anyway and see how it goes. Oh, no, we are going to get it pretty easy. 13 combat strength. That's pretty high, actually. Is that what mammoths really sound like? You think they sound just like elephants? Couldn't add like a velociraptor roar in there or something? Alright. Now here's the interesting. Units recover whether they moved or not. as long as they're in friendly territory. So it seems like, unlike the Civ series, where you had units have to sit still in order to heal, as long as you're in friendly territory, you can move around and you'll be able to recover. Now, we were able to get fishing. +3 food on harbor, +1 food on river. That could be valuable because we have, you know, quite a lot of rivers. Irrigation is +2 food on rivers, though, and that could be better. Now, these improvements, these buildings, for want of a better word, they have levels. So this is irrigation level 1. And then it gets upgraded to something better when you get to irrigation level 2, which is probably here in hydrology. Yeah. Level 2 max, +2 food on river. Those must obviously be cumulative in that case. But I don't know if upgrading it... What is the value of having families? I wonder what that's an interesting question. Anyway, I want calendar so that I can get the luxury resources. Those will be valuable. Who's this? Uh-oh. Whoever it is, they've got a big army. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe we should go defend our outpost before they attack us. Ooh, you have a curiosity. We haven't found one of those in a while.
Listen very carefully. I have a proposal.
I'm listening to your proposal. Oh, it's written right in front of me. So, they want to trade luxuries. I am totally in favor of that because I am the trading empire of awesome.
Tremendous!
Here's one I don't get. You click propose alliance and he responds without you seeing what the response was. It's pretty apparent that that the answer's no, but it doesn't really say that anywhere. You just listen to the dialogue and then you notice that nothing's changed. So is that who that is? Yes. Okay, so he's not an enemy anymore, technically, question mark? I'm still a little worried. So I want to upgrade this to a city. Doesn't cost me any influence to do. It only costs me the influence to get the outpost in the first place. So we're going to build this now and make sure nobody can take this from us. And maybe this city combines with this area here, because the horses there can be valuable to us. So let's go ahead and send these guys in. Look for a place over here to set up another outpost in this particular area. Meanwhile, I want to come back and build a city over here, but something tells me... +5 science. Huzzah. Something tells me that the horses... Oh, that's the Amazon River. They gave them names. That's cool. I didn't know they had names. I like that. It would be nice if the names that they gave them had something to do with the features. Like if it's a particularly long river, you could call it the Amazon. If it's a particularly rainy river, that might also apply. If it's just got a massive, like super wide river because it's got a massive drainage area, you could call it the Mississippi. If it's got a lot of good food things at the end in the delta, you could call it the Nile. You know, whatever. All kinds of options. Ooh, we found a sanctuary for animals so we can get some money by stealing it. Wow, they have a lot of nomads. We don't want to make them angry. Ooh, we found a dye deposit. As the Nubians, we do like the idea. Oh, there's 2 dyes here. We do like the idea of these luxury resources. That's a little far out, though. If we run into... Oh, we found the coast, finally. If we had some problems with other empires, we'd be really far away from the core part of our empire that could actually build units and help. Oh no, they started a thing inside the horse area. Well, I don't want to go to war because I don't have the units to do anything, especially because he spent a lot more time in the tribal state and he got a lot more people. I wonder if that would have been a better idea. So here, this could get some bonus from adjacent makers' quarters. That's not great, though. This, whoa. This says plus 18. Oh, because it's one big city. Of course. But I wonder if a food wouldn't be more valuable here first. No, not really. Because I was just thinking, whatever I put here, I can put the money on top of one of these, right? No, I have to set a different one on top of those. Forest and woodland. These were dry grass. Woodland. Interesting. Woodland is different than forest. Forest is worth more. Anyway, I want this to get the extra thing. And then I think I do want this here. I lose 3 food, but I'll get that in another way. Here's what I am going to do with these guys. I'm going to claim this territory and link them. I don't know how I'm going to claim it, but I'm going to claim it, and then I'm going to link these two together. I think I got to look on the other side of this mountain range and see what's over there. We got the granary and the artisan's quarter, which will allow me to actually get some luxuries to trade. Population gain. Oh, we gained a civics point. They attacked one of my armies. I guess it was by accident. That's happened before, and it didn't seem like it was on purpose. It seemed like the AI accidentally did that, so I'm just going to let it go. That's an interesting system, by the way. The demands... Like, a crisis is they did something like steal the area that had my outpost. They attacked my outpost. They attacked my units, whatever. They did stuff during Cold War, you know, peace but not alliance period, which is aggressive. And when that happens, you can become aggrieved by it and make a demand that they pay you some kind of recompense for such a heinous act. And if they agree, well, then that's good. And they can also just ignore it. And if they ignore it, your war desire against them goes up. And that makes it less likely that you're going to surrender when the war happens. Eventually, inevitably, kind of. We retreated out of there. I'm going to try to get them to say. So I proposed an alliance, and we have to see what they say. Look for more curiosities on her. Whoa! How come we revealed so much? Like, they're not even at the highest point, but they maybe there was a thing there and I didn't see it. I guess I could go in here and see. Like, they haven't been revealed for some reason. Ah, here we go. Civics unlock. The next game context and your actions will sometimes line up and unlock the conditions for a new civic. This is an odd system. Civics represent societal matters in which you can position your empire, making a choice between propositions and thus forging your empire's character and ideology. By what right do we rule? Both choices correspond to the possible answer to the question raised by the civic. Either choice will modify your ideologies and have gameplay effects or unlock content. We claim inherent dominion over the land and beasts, or our supremacy is ordained, for we are the chosen ones. +5 on Holy Site. Well, let's get +5 on Main Plaza, because we don't have a Holy Site yet, and I'm not sure we're going to have one. Civics points are gained based on the stability of the empire. The more stable it is, the quicker you'll earn them, but the empire stability is low, civic points will not accrue. Interesting. Now, empire stability is the average stability of all your cities. At low empire stability will eventually lead to a revolution. High value will increase the rate at which you generate civics points. Okay. How do we increase stability? Presumably it's one of these. That's -5. A garrison lowers stability? Huh. Okay, public fountain increases stability. Sure. Palisades, I feel like the city defenses should also increase stability, to be honest, but otherwise there's just not a lot of reason to ever build a palisade unless you expect that city to come under attack. So what are we researching now? Are we researching anything? No. Let's go ahead and get to that public fountain, which is public hygiene level 1. That increases stability. That makes sense. What other things might increase stability eventually? Probably bread and circuses type stuff. Oh, here we go. Aqueduct is public hygiene level 2. Is it really just hygiene all throughout the early... Okay. Plus stability on garrison. On garrison. So if you've built a garrison... So... when you get to City Watch, your garrisons stop penalizing you, is what that seems to be implying. And until that point, the only other thing... And research quarters lowers... Oh, every quarter, that's what it is. Okay. Every quarter you build lowers stability by 5, including the garrison. This one helps to reset it so that the garrison doesn't cost you stability, and instead gives you stability because you've also used the garrison to help house the City Watch. Okay, okay. That's all making sense to me now. Siege weapon... +5 stability per adjacent district. The Commons Quarter. Huh. Per adjacent district. I was wondering how they were going to balance out the issue of long, snaky cities. Because if you build a city nearby, I don't know, a couple of really good locations, like let's say you built a city in this region, you could put a city that snakes from here up through this one and then over to here and gets all those nice territories. And that's actually much more efficient than building a city that's in a circular orientation. And the main reason is because when you go in a line, every new quarter you add has the potential to add 3 or maybe 4 new hexes to be exploited. Whereas if you stay tightly packed, any new quarter may only exploit 2 new tiles compared to what was being exploited before. So this city is not gonna be nearly as good as I'd hoped because I couldn't advance into here. We might have to go to war with the Assyrians in the Classical Age. Shh, don't tell them. A new grievance. Why are they still attacking my guys? We can't retreat? Well, then I guess we're gonna have to fight. You know what this means? This means war. They only have one guy. Why are they attacking with one guy? Oh, they took the high ground, those bastards. I couldn't get to the high ground first. Now, there's something about units having a zone of control, but it doesn't appear to apply. in this early fighting. I don't know if its scouts might not have a zone of control. Maybe I'll do this. And these guys probably shouldn't have attacked, but... yeah, I shouldn't have attacked. I should have just backed up here last turn. Forced them to come down from their high ground. Because all I have to do is defend this camp, and I might survive. Alright, well now I'll go get the high ground, and screw them. Aha! Now what for? Well, they took my camp, but I take it back, and then I win. Because they're gonna die. That's what you get when you mess with the warrior. I was just trying to pass through. I don't understand why you gotta attack me like this. Dog. Let's see if we just get out of their territory. Might be able to heal up in neutral territory. I really just need to come over here and claim this spot. I do have a lot of money. Let's build another scout. With money. Because I need a scout near my capital. Extra construction. Did you notice the special district? Yeah, the extractor. Yeah, I'm all in favor of it. Oh, you know what? We don't need the pyramids to extract from these. That's right. Those are kind of useless, actually. We can just build directly onto the luxury resources. Did I tell this to turn into a city? Yes, it's creating a city, but it's taking a long time to do it. Aha! We found another people, the Hittites. And I don't know what type of civilization they are.
Do you too believe that there is no limit to how high humanity might soar?
Thought there was a way to see the various show cultures. See, I can't tell. There's no hover over for the types of things like Science Empire, Aesthete Empire, things like that. So it's really difficult to say. I know the Assyrians are a warlike people, but I don't know too much about the Hittites. Are they science-based? Are they whatever, you know? You'll learn eventually, but it'd be nice if you could just hover over it and see what the heck they were. Anyway, where are we? Got a unit in the capital. We're going to go try to build some kind of outpost over in this territory. Oh wow, this giant mountain range means that territory is a no bueno. And see, this is exactly the situation. The only reason I want to build an outpost here and link these together is this tile. This tile is really good, and I want the city to be able to grow in this whole area and like grow across to this part of the area. But I can't do it without sacrificing efficiency. And that's very frustrating. Wait, why do I have to do that? I guess I have to take the closest way out, because we don't have open borders or something. See? Geysers given science? I guess that makes sense. Hard to argue with that one. Geysers, guys. Geysers. Looks like we won't heal. Even if we spent our turn here, we won't heal? Oh, we have 3 of 4. Your initiative is leading your people to greatness. I got 50 renown. They all want to trade luxuries right off the bat. None of them can, because nobody has them, but they want to. And that's what matters.
You should listen to this.
The Assyrians want a non-aggression pact. I'll definitely take it if they're offering. Because the difference there is before they were able to attack me, attacks within the other empire's borders strictly forbidden. A blind eye's turn to fighting and raiding in neutral territory, which includes, I believe, areas that are only controlled by an outpost. So we don't have a full alliance, but a non-aggression pact is at least good to have part of the way. Ah, you remember I wanted to look, because remember this used to be 150 and 100, now it's 130 and 80. I don't know why it's gone down. It says I completed a deed. What deed did I complete? This one. It has no information on it. What did it... What? Alright, I guess I gotta file this one as a bug report too. I'll go ahead and save the game file here. Deed explanation. Save. Okay. Back to the game. Now this is in it. I love the way these mountains look. Super cool. Ooh, what is that? Lead. Don't do it! It looks like there's a giant gaping hole in the map. It's so bizarre. I don't think I like that. Oh my god, this is a massive mountain range. Yeah, there's no way to the middle. There's no way to the middle. But I could create an outpost over here somewhere. Ugh, but not really. But, like, not really? Because, like, this is the only place I can put something that doesn't immediately be unable to build a quarter. So I guess that's where it's going. But it doesn't matter. I'm going to link it to the capital anyway. Yeah, see, they're not growing because they're not in friendly territory. Let's see if I can sneak around to friendly territory. Well, we have a non-aggression pact now anyway, so it's probably fine. Hey, we found another coast. If we zoom out, we can start seeing the shape of the map unfold here. Looks like a Pangea style, but wow, there's a lot of stuff to the north that we can't see. A lot of stuff going on up there. Now, why is this in green hashes? That's like a forest name. The Forest of Bialowiska. Bialowiska? That's what that symbol means, I think. That's kind of cool. I like that. I like those touches when they make sense. I would like mountain ranges to have a cool name and be depicted on here. Still building another artisan's quarter. This... Granary, huh? Probably for the best. Let's throw that on the list.
Come over here.
A grievance has been forgiven. What grievance? I wonder. See, I can be friendly, too. Oh, that's his capital right there, too. If I take his capital, I'll kill him. This one's still being created. It takes forever. Even with 2, 4, 6. That's why buying it out would be the smart thing to do. But I don't have a lot of money. And since I waited this long, I'll wait a little bit longer. Another giant mountain range, making this territory almost uninhabitable. Ooh, we found a curiosity nobody else found. Dimension stones? I think I had to look those up once. I think those are real. It's a natural stone that's been selected and finished to specific sizes or shapes. So it's stone that's easily crafted into squares, I guess. Sedimentary rocks are used for... all kinds are used for dimension stone. Granite, limestone, marble, etc. Easily accessible, I guess, is the idea. Alright, well, if I wrapped my way around there, I'm going to have this guy come back and keep trying to find the coastline. Just for the hell of it. Meanwhile, these guys finish that. Do we want them attacking the mammoth? No. They're not strong enough for that. We don't even have warriors yet. These guys are just scouts. We got a lot more income, though, when you put those quarters out there. Oh. Your territory is under my cultural influence. Who is saying that? Me or them? Huh. Why is my cultural influence so high here? Because they're producing 1.6. But I'm only producing 3. It shouldn't be that big a difference. Right? So I have a grievance that I am swaying their culture? I just don't see how that is the case. And this says it's 2. And this is... I'm not producing a lot. It's 3, and that's 9. Okay, 9 is actually a lot. So why does this only show 2? The value of its output is 2 influence for use culture. What? It's 9 here. It's 3 here. And it's 2 here. No, it's 3 there. Resource can be increased by some of your empire bonuses generated by other elements such as emblematic districts and wonders built in your territories. In the map, you can check how much empire influence is spread around the world from territory to territory. By influencing foreign territories, you can force opponents to modify their laws or make it difficult for them to attack you. Okay. I can demand they give me this outpost. Do I want that outpost? It's not adjacent to anything I have, so I don't think I want to make that demand. Because you should only make demands if you're willing to back them up. Wrong one. See, he's happy when I renounce that. And he's in fact willing now to give a non-aggression pact because I renounced that demand. So he's like, yeah, I mean, that outpost is yours by right, but you didn't force us to give it. So there's that. Get the deer. Let's auto-resolve, come on. Yeah, we got the deer. So I think I've got a much better handle on the early game and the systems. Not a great handle, but it's better than nothing. In addition to enhanced money production, you have access to a passive ability when Empire buys traded resources. See, I was looking at that too. Doubles the gains of money when selling. Unlocks the action forward trade on the Empire. Where do I get that? Forward trade. Oh, saffron +5 on all cities. That's nice. What is the civilization bonus of +4? Is that difficulty level? From ideology? Oh, I know what that is. There it is. It's, oh, come on, go away. I'm trying to hover over stuff here. This doesn't really show. But stability on city or outpost, whereas this direction gives you more food. Globalization versus nationalism, I guess. I thought you used to be able to hover over those and see what they were.
Listen very carefully. I have a proposal.
So, now that we have the trade everything with him, he doesn't have anything to trade. Okay. Does anybody else have anything to trade? Yes, they do. So I could buy a die from them, which does what? Why doesn't it tell me what dies do? +5 stability and +5 industry per die. So luxury resources help keep your stability just like they give you happiness in the other game. Okay. But +5 industry per die, does that apply to my cities? It must, right? Or is it referring specifically to the spot where the die is? It must be referring to the cities. All right, well, let's try and... Well, actually, we can buy it from him whether we try it or not. It's not going to... Okay, let's see its price. The base price is 15 for a luxury resource. We can choose to transport it by land or by sea. Only using land routes. This is the default option with a balance between cost and safety. So, am I buying this forever for 30 turns? What is... Treaties might also influence their cost. Once a resource is purchased, the trade route is created and will grant you access to the resource. Beware that trade routes can be broken by changes in relationships or by ransacking the other empires. Huh. I guess it's forever. Establish a trade route between this extractor and your closest city. Now for me, if you recall, I guess the normal cost of buying a resource is 30. But I can buy it from them for 15 instead. Doesn't change the cost of the transportation. So now I have access to this. Yeah. Look at that. They gave me +5 from die. Which means +2 food on districts producing food. That's not per saffron. It's just if you have any saffron at all. But it looks like the more dyes you have... No, maybe not. Maybe it's... On all cities. Okay. Either way, I like that. What about... So these guys have nothing we can trade. What about these guys? We like trade. We can actually... And that's our special ability. They can buy dyes from us even though we got it from someone else. That's not normal. Normally, if you get something from somebody else, you can't pass it along. But because we're the special trade merchant faction power, we can do that. So we want to meet as many people as possible and trade as much stuff as possible so that they buy from us. And they pay us more to do it. I'm going to put these guys here as a defensive measure. I think I'm done exploring in the south here. These guys will go explore the west. These guys can keep exploring in the north once they heal up. Empire 2 now feels differently about me. Huh. Thanks, Empire 2, I think.
This proposal respects your people and mine.
We lack border policy treaties, and they want some. Alright, these guys will flow north. Oh, hey, look at that! Oh, this thing's not even created yet, and this can already attach? No, I can't do it until the outpost is completed, it looks like. Ah. But we did get access to horses. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to get copper. We're not going to combine it, because getting another city connected to that capital is probably a bad idea. The stability is going to be a bigger problem soon. But down here, we finished this as a city. I need that ridiculous maker's quarter, right? Not that. This. Plus 10. I love it. And then if I put this over here, it gets not much. All it does is plus 1 production, which it can't exploit. Could we get a good food going? Yeah, okay. This one seems a little bit better. This one's kind of wasted because we can't exploit that across the way. And if we build in this direction, we'll be able to exploit in more directions there. Aha, stability. Now, what are the effect of having high... The people are beginning to get agitated. Strained. Plus 10 from unknown. So I don't know. So 30 to 90 is strained. If we can get it above 90, then I guess people are happy. But 30 to 90 doesn't seem to do anything negative on a per city basis. On an empire basis, though, we already know that it's currently 60, and we're gaining a number of civics points based on, you know, how well this is set up. Oh, each territory gives you some influence. That's where some of this was coming from. Instead of just plus 22, we should know that some of that's from cities, and each territory also gives us some. Alright, so here, let's get some defenses, and let's get the ability to get copper, plus spearmen. Is copper needed for spearmen? None of them really need to seem to say. That's another problem. I don't know that you can garrison these in a city. Other than just to put it on the city tile. So we're just going to put him there and put him in sentry mode so he doesn't pop back up for us. Harvest season. Ah, cats. I think we want cats. We do need a public fountain to alleviate our stability issue. It's actually not that bad, to be honest. The population cap is 15, so maybe some more food quarters would be valuable. This will give us +9. Damn. So let's spread it out, I guess. Won't get that, but that's okay. Doesn't have any food there anyway. And flood irrigation will help a lot. Now it's spread out our population points. We could change that if we wanted. High stability also increases growth. 1 every 6 turns due to the current size of the population and the fact that we're in abundance. The city gains a stability bonus from the... Oh, wow, that's also cool. It's +17 stability from the growth surplus. Yeah, when there's plenty of food, people don't feel like rioting. And that just means they have extra wealth in all kinds of ways. We got another Era Star unlocked. Or the first Era Star unlocked. Got us some rewards. So we're in first with 136. Second place is... we can't really see. Damn. I missed that thing. I gotta go turn around. Oh, the other thing we probably could use... Can't this be linked? Did we already link them? No, it's not quite done yet. It needs one more turn. There we go. Now we've got a little outpost there. Completed. So now we can attach this, and it's gonna... oh, it's just gonna make this worse. Yep. Yep. Number of territories went way up. So... funny story. We're building something to deal with that. But, not so funny story. The thing that I do like about this is that it doesn't... your stability doesn't drop immediately when you do something like this. It slowly... it glides towards a new low. But we'll at least probably hold it somewhere around 45 when we finish the public fountain. But we should... no, we never researched horses. Domestication. Let's get that. I'll switch over to that. It would be nice to see if they had access to new tradable goods without having to click on these. And maybe it does. Maybe there is an alert that lets you know when that happens. I'll accept that as a possibility. Shipping some more valuables back to the capital. But I really need to come over here and settle this with a new city that's not going to connect to the capital directly. It's going to be its own thing. Oh, you want to trade everything just because I've suddenly got horses, huh? Is that it?
Most glorious.
Oh,
Yes.
they've already got horses. But, I don't need to buy those. I've already got my own source, thanks. And it's important to understand, I believe, you're not trading away one copy when somebody else buys it. You're trading access to the good. There's an infinite amount of the good. The fact that I have 2 saffron, I think, means that I've got plus 10 stability from saffron, right? Is that what we already determined? So having a second die might give me another stability. Unless I'm misunderstanding that. Let me take a look at what my cities actually say. It says plus 10 from unknown. I think that plus 10 from unknown is trade. So yes, having more of a thing doesn't seem to matter. Hello, it's me, Mr. President. How hard is it to learn to play? Right now, because it's in beta, I would say it's harder than it will be, because they are still working on the tutorial aspect of it. It's not coming out until April officially. So this is just an open beta that anybody can join. Well, closed beta, but if you pre-order it on Steam, then you can get access to it. But of course, you could always pre-order it, get access to the beta, and then in 2 weeks when the beta closes, you can cancel your pre-order, right? There are tutorials that pop up. They are not 100% complete, and things like this don't give you enough information to understand how the systems work. This says, you're getting 28 per turn, but it doesn't break down that you're getting 10 from your cities, and 1 from each territory that you have, and X from Y, and all this other stuff that would help you understand where this influence is coming from, right? That is what I mean when I say it's harder than it should be to learn, because these tooltips don't give you all the information you need to understand. They'll tell you something, but they won't tell you enough. See, this has a breakdown. It says plus 35 from cities. I know I'm not getting any money from any place other than my cities. So now I can click on my city and go, okay, I'm getting 32 money from this city. Where's that coming from? Oh, here it is. So understanding where the money's coming from is very easy. Understanding where the influence is coming from isn't really done yet, right? But yes, if you're familiar with 4X games, if you're familiar with Civ games, especially if you're familiar with other Amplitude games, Endless Legend in particular, then this one will be fairly easy to pick up. I think I would say you can learn 80 to 90% of this game's systems by simply reading the tutorials that do pop up that we've seen so far. If you haven't played any type of the game like this, then I'd say it's going to be a little harder, but there are going to be a ton of people creating videos that are like a half hour, 45 minutes long or whatever, that you watch that and it'll get you a really good introduction to how the systems work. Yeah, if you've never played a big 4X game like this before, it can be really challenging because there are so many systems. And it's an interesting quandary, right? As a person who's played a lot of strategy games before, a lower level introductory game, to me, is boring because it's too simple. I've seen it all before. When you make a game that's a lot more complex, that has way more moving parts, it's more interesting to me because the way those parts fit together can be very different from the way Civ 6 does it, can be different from the way that Civ 5 does it, can be different from the way that Endless Legend does it. And yet, if you make a game that's complex enough to interest me, it's too complex to be easily picked up by other players. So it's a big conundrum. How, as a developer, do you thread that needle? And it's not easy, that's for sure. So here's my suggestion. If you're interested in these kinds of games, if you love the idea of like leading a civilization or something, I would say that this is going to be a really good one to get into. However, I am going to probably spend tomorrow doing a full explain as much as I can about how this game works, how the systems work, as concisely and efficiently as possible without rambling. Because today all I've been doing is rambling as just my thoughts. That's what today's video was. I haven't been trying to do anything super concise. It's not really as much of a playthrough as it is just me sort of commenting on things as they come up. My thoughts on the game design that I've been seeing so far and this and that. Sort of a preview, not a review because it's still in alpha, and not really a playthrough because I'm doing a lot of stopping and talking. Tomorrow, I think, is when I'm going to try to do like a full explanation in like 45 minutes to an hour to try to go through everything and make it very easy to understand. So, if you want to see if you understand it, tune in tomorrow at 1 p.m. and I will answer any questions that you have, and hopefully you'll be able to figure out at that point, listening to my explanation, if the game is for you or not. If it just sounds too overwhelming, then... Ooh, I get to create my religion. I haven't seen these yet. 1 p.m. Eastern Time, I should say. Thank you. Eastern Time. That's -4 UTC, I believe. No, -4 is when we're in Daylight Savings. It's -5 normally? It is -5 normally. Yes. Okay, got it. So yeah, that's where I'm at. New York City, if you want to do a quick, conversion on one of those websites, that'll tell you what time it is where I am. So it's 3 o'clock now. I'm going to close down the stream for today, and tomorrow I'll be back at 1 o'clock, so 2 hours ago. But tomorrow is when I'll be doing the explanation stream, which I think I'm getting pretty good at for all of these various complicated games. Be happy to answer any questions at that point. But for now, have a good one, everybody. We'll talk to you later.